Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs, the radio show that features the stories of leadership and entrepreneurship and how to deal with this ever-changing economy. Every week, we like to speak with Mark Furman, attorney at the law firm of Tarlow, Hart, and Rodgers. It's Entrepreneurship and the Law with Mark Furman. Welcome back, Mark.
Hi, Jeffrey. Great to be with you.
Thank you. Mark, there's a lot going on in terms of the law and business right now. What's on the agenda for today?
Well, we have a big development in the fact that the United States Supreme Court has just accepted cases from appeals brought challenging the use of affirmative action policies at the universities, particularly Harvard and UNC. And in both cases, lower court judges have found in favor of the institutions, which allow race among other factors to be considered, actually many other factors to be considered in the admissions process. But the challenge brought in these cases is claiming that this is, in effect, race discrimination, that the use of affirmative action and admissions is in violation of rights of equality, and it's a very hot button political issue. And as you know, Jeffrey, the makeup of the Supreme Court has been significantly altered as a result of the election of President Trump in 2016, and he had the opportunity to appoint a number of Supreme Court justices and changing the balance of the court between liberal and conservative justices. So, you know, we have the abortion case that's working its way, that's before the court. There's Second Amendment cases, and now we have this affirmative action case, all very hot button political subjects, all matters of great division within the country. And I think a lot of people think that they're going to abolish considering race in admission standards, and if not, dramatically narrow the way it can be used. You know, we have, you know, one of the reasons it's so political is because, you know, for a long time, consideration of race has been allowed under Supreme Court precedents, and quotas are prohibited, but consideration of race has been allowed among other factors. And the plaintiffs in I believe it's the Harvard case, did a statistical analysis showing how it impacts the people in the top tier of their classes, how they're, what the result is in terms of college admissions for Asians, Asian Americans, Hispanics, African Americans. And but there was a lengthy trial in the Harvard case that I followed, 130-page decision, I think it was, by the federal judge finding for Harvard. It was affirmed on appeal, and now the Supreme Court's going to take the case, and along with the other case. So I am skeptical that they're taking the case in order to affirm the decisions below. There'll be, in all likelihood, some change.
Well, I've heard grumblings about affirmative action. And I seem to remember Dershowitz, talking about the problems with affirmative action, that it actually discriminated against some smaller minorities that have benefited by being in America for a longer time. And, as you said, maybe a more minor decision, maybe this is just a time to adjust it to the current, dynamics of America, not really eliminate it. But what I'm thinking is, if they do make some decision, there's going to be implications across the whole country. Won't this trickle down to a statewide level in multiple states? We'll see lawsuits in other states.
Absolutely. It will set the nationwide rule regarding whether race can be considered in the admissions factor. So it'll impact every state because it's and I think the court, based upon past cases, have and the new makeup of the court, I think there's a little bit of a signal is going to be a pretty dramatic change, if not a elimination of race as a factor. It's just another example of the consequences of elections. And we have, a third of the court was appointed and affirmed by President Trump. Highly unusual that a one-term president would get that much of an opportunity to, nominate new judges. So as judges retire and new judges come on the court, it has implications. And, our federal elections are critically important in deciding so many policies, and who is on the bench is one of the things that gets decided in large part in elections. I mean, the federal judges do have to be approved by the Senate, but if you have the president and the same party controlling the Senate, there's not a lot of check and balance there. So it's, I think, a fairly dramatic change in the court, a much more conservative court, and we'll have to see what the ruling is in this case.
So again, I'm going to go by the assumption that there's going to be some adjustment just for the sake of discussion. And I can't help but think that if that happens, that would have implications for hiring practices of corporations who have been following affirmative action rules as well, and trying to abide by certain standards for hiring, that someone's going to start challenging that as well. So if it starts at schools and things change, it's going to go to employers. There are more people being employed than there are people going to school. And I know as a management consultant, as an attorney, that employers are very concerned about how they hire, what they say when they hire, who they look at, how they fire, who's easier to fire than others, and an employee at will. So I would think this could trickle down all the way through our economic system to entrepreneurs as well. Do you agree?
Yes. There are laws that prohibit discrimination, right? So what is discrimination is what the court is grappling with, and different people view it very differently. Look at Harvard, for example, as an employer. It's a huge enterprise.
Big business.
The number of people employed in government. And then you have all the companies that accept government money in one way or another that are bound to those standards. So it's a huge case that I think will have dramatic implications, not just to the admissions process. And it's something our country started with slavery, and this has a history going back even after the abolition of slavery, of discrimination. And, it's just been a struggle for 200 and almost 250 years around, dealing with race in our country. And this is just another example in the evolution, which is, and part of it is a legal battle, and part of it is just a political battle of where we are, where we've been. Have we evolved to the point of not needing race to be a factor? Is it, as long as I've been practicing law, the subject of race has been an important part of Supreme Court cases, state court cases, the interpretation of federal statutes, the interpretation of state statutes, rules made by agency. This is a societal-wide issue of great significance, and now we have a point where there are new judges on the Supreme Court, and they seem to adhere to you never know what a judge is going to do once they're on the court, but based upon their history, it would be, I'm skeptical that the court's going to affirm the lower court rulings in the case.
Well, overturning rulings, you would know, what the batting average is on that. It'll be interesting to see. The part that I sort of feel again is this, that almost no matter what happens, there's anger on both sides of fairness. And this strife that exists between different groups that feel that they're being taken advantage of on both sides, I think is just going to continue. And it does create problems in the workplace. Don't talk politics. It's a dangerous discussion to ever have politics in the workplace being discussed.
In terms of education, I've always thought education is the key to economic opportunity. And, when I was younger, I'm still young, as you know, but when I went to a public college where the tuition was very small. And I think when it was raised by $100 per semester, there were massive student protests. But a lot of first folks in a family to go to college. And so the whole subject of educational opportunity is a gut wrencher. It's the affordability of college, the access to college, and now we're talking about the elite colleges too.
Well, it's a hot topic. I know it's interesting. I went to university in Canada. All schools in Canada are public colleges, and Canadians are I think by percentage, the highest educated people in the world. It was always expected that everyone would go to university. I think when I went to university, it was $600 a year. So, and to get a quality education. And it was assuming that when you're in Canada and you're competing with the largest economy in the world, everybody's got to be educated. You don't have a choice. So it's interesting how things have evolved and changed. I think you brought up a great subject, Mark. I know we're going to be talking about it again. If someone's looking for you, as I said, these issues do trickle down to organizations. How do they find you at Tarlow, Breed, Hart, and Rodgers?
I can be reached at Furman, Furman, at TBHR-law.com or at 617-218-2025.
That's Mark Furman, Entrepreneurship and the Law from the law firm of Tarlow, Breed, Hart, and Rodgers. My name is JDavis from Mage, LLC, and we will be right back with more stories on Radio Entrepreneurs.